Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now, today's first story comes from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit from Natural Grocery 3159 and says, thinking about not attending my brother's wedding because his fiance's prank on my husband. Thinking about not attending my brother's wedding because of his fiance's prank on my husband. I'm 25 female, my husband is 30 male. My brother, 32 male, and his fiancée, 31 female, recently came to visit us in our city. My partner and I are new homeowners and they were staying with us for the first time. My brother's fiancée loves Halloween. She's also a Disney adult and has a childlike side to her, which comes out sometimes. She's just super involved, absorbed when it comes to her interests. Anyway, I'm just sharing this for context because my perspective is that she often gets carried away, and I genuinely feel what I'm going to describe was the result of one of those moments where she just took it too far and suffered some negative consequences. She is, however, taking it as a very personal attack. So we disagree, and the disagreement resulted in my husband cutting their visit short, aka they were asked to leave. 31 female, the fiancé, has made comments more than a few times now since meeting him that my husband gives off a dark vibe. She's always comparing him to characters from various books she reads. It's not necessarily criticism. She always explains that they are compliments. Well, I'm not sure anymore. Her reasons for these comparisons are based on his looks, the general vibe he gives off, and his tattoo. He only has one, but it's on his hand. During this recent visit, she mentioned she would love to see someone like him get scared because she can't imagine him getting startled or letting out a scream. Scaring him became her goal during her stay with us. None of us knew about it, not even my brother. The incident causing all the trouble is that she tried to jump scare my husband in the garage. It was dark and she ambushed him in the garage while wearing a full outfit and mask when he was returning from a run. Well, he didn't let out the scream she wanted. He instinctively reacted by shoving her against the wall. She hit her head and was quite shaken up. Luckily, he realized very quickly by the sound she made that it likely wasn't an intruder. He switched the lights on and pulled her mask off. He told me he was very confused in the moment. Why would she attack him? My husband helped her inside, apologized, made her tea, and then called me. I was out with my brother. When we got home, I asked 31 female if she was okay, and I said her prank was stupid to do because she could have gotten seriously hurt. I don't know if it was what I said that bothered her or if she was just waiting for a partner to come home. But she launched into crying about how my husband used an excessive amount of force, knowing it was most likely her just doing a harmless prank. In a nutshell, my husband asked her straightforwardly, "Are you implying I intentionally assaulted you?" She hesitated but chose to say yes, and my husband responded to that with, "Get out of my house." I tried to smooth it, but my husband was adamant. If that's what she genuinely believes, she's not welcome to stay. 31 female chose to stick to her accusation. I decided to side with my husband. My brother is angry with me. He thinks I should have tried to do damage control and let them stay by convincing my husband to lean more into apologizing and placating his fiancée, who was just recovering from the situation. He thinks this whole thing would have blown over if I'd helped my husband fold. I find this unfair. My brother was counting on me to handle all this, yet he didn't speak up during the conversation to try and talk sense into his fiancée. My husband remained calm the entire time, but he obviously felt insulted by her remarks, and I think that's valid. Why should I have taken my brother's fiancée's side over my own husband? Especially when I feel like she was wrong for doing all that. Then turning around and accusing my husband of wanting to hurt her. My brother says I was short-sighted and should think of their upcoming wedding. But I think he is the one who needs to get his fiancée to apologize to my husband. Editing the post to add the text below in an attempt to answer some things that are getting lost in comments. I would like to clarify. When I meant I tried to smooth the situation, I was not taking 31 female side or doubting my husband in any way. I simply tried to get everyone to consider tabling this until the emotions had cooled down. And by those emotions I mean the hysterics of my brother's fiancée. My husband was calm throughout, although there was an obvious finality about his decision. He made his statement and disengaged. As mentioned, my brother looked to me, hoping I'd persuade my husband, but I didn't, so they had to leave. The costume. I mentioned in the comments that I didn't get an opportunity to ask that night if she had bought the outfit specifically for this prank or if it was my brother's Halloween costume. They go to adult Halloween parties and we're attending one this weekend 2 hours from where we live. It was part of my brother's costume, a mask, like a golden masquerade one but more coverage. It reminded me of the gold jeweled animal masks from Squid Game or something you'd wear to a Rothschild's party in the 70s, and she had a long robe/cloak with a hood. People asked me to update. I will do that. Please look at my comments too in case I already answered a question you might have, but I think these two were the ones I saw pop up the most. I'm sorry I can't keep up with all the comments. I really tried. I'll be showing this thread to my brother. No, I don't blame the husband's reactions at all in this. Going into a dark garage and someone jumps out dressed up in dark clothing with a mask on, not knowing who the fuck it is. But even after that, he helped her and even apologized to her and made her tea to make sure she was okay. But then she doubled down and accused him of intentionally assaulting her. Yeah, I would have kicked her out of the house at the same time. Why would you have someone around you like that? That's a huge accusation, and it's only to cover up for a fuck up. The dog says if she hadn't hidden in the dark garage in a hooded costume, none of this would have happened. There's no way he would have known in the moment that it was her, and I believe anyone would have a similar reaction. Frankly, she's lucky she was not hurt more than she was. There's a direct cause and effect here, yet she's not accepting responsibility. I think her behavior falls into the play stupid games category. Your husband doesn't have anything to apologize for, and it's offensive for them to try to obfuscate her responsibility. Not the arsehole. Old Warrior says exactly this. It's one thing to come out of a closet into a well-lighted room, and completely another to jump someone in a dark garage. She's lucky he didn't break her nose or jaw. Pure Butterscotch says, I live in Oklahoma. She's lucky she didn't get shot. Mary says, Texas here. Getting shot is a real possibility. That's beyond stupid on her part. I can guarantee you that I will not be attacked again. Not funny. Speckled Fried says, not the arsehole. Your future sister-in-law is deranged. She attacked someone coming into his own home. He reacted accordingly. How would he know it was her? She fucked around and found out. Your brother should have told her it's her own fault. Be prepared for more dramatics once they are married and go low contact now. Nothing will ever be her fault. Edited to add, call your family now and tell them what happened before they spin it and blame your husband for reacting appropriately. Never Say Hello says, the relationship dynamics are concerning. You might want to distance yourself from her drama. So OP comes in to update the post and says, I got a lot of messages requesting an update. I've never made one before, so I'm hoping I'm going about this correctly. To recap my previous post, my 25 female brother's fiancé 31 female decided to jump scare my husband 30 male in our dark garage because she wanted to get a reaction from him and possibly hear him scream. As ridiculous as it sounds, this is the only motive we've been able to get out of her. My husband responded to her jump scare by instinctively shoving her against a wall. Luckily for her, he heard her voice and recognized that it wasn't an intruder. He apologized to her in that moment and helped her inside and calmed her down. He told me he was gentle and understanding, but once she was seated and started to calm down, he made it very clear to her that her actions were reckless and could have led to serious harm. It's my personal opinion that she didn't like the change in his demeanor and being told off because it meant she was no longer the victim, but the transgressor. In a shitty attempt to get herself out of the hot seat, she decided to accuse my husband of using excessive force, implying that he intentionally assaulted her, even though she was the one who initiated the whole situation. This led to an emotional reaction from my brother and heightened the tension between him and my husband. My husband was zero tolerance about the theatrics, future sister-in-law in hysterics and my brother getting riled up about it. He kicked them both out. You can read the details of the first post here. Update. I tried to talk to my brother multiple times after this incident, but each attempt ended in silence because I refused to give in to his demands. He wanted my husband and me to apologize to his fiancée, starting with me downplaying the whole situation so she wouldn't feel bad about her prank. I hesitated to send him the Reddit post I'd made. Initially, I thought it might work against us to make things worse, but his total inability to see reason with me or see the situation for what it was became beyond frustrating. Since I couldn't physically deliver a cold hard slap to his face for asking me to be completely